My dreams come true.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday, May the 2nd, 2024, and welcome to the BS3 Network presenting the morning shift with Cole Johnson. I am your host, Cole Johnson, and for the next hour, you will sit back, relax as we get, and continue to inform you, enlighten you, engage with you, entertain you, and spiritually feed you. On this program today, we will later talk about how any and all of us can support a business or content creator, and it doesn't have to come out your pocket. Also, we will talk about chemistry versus connection, the differences in between, and if both can happen or if one can happen without the other. And later, we will talk about the ask scenario. Ask scenario? What is that? All of that is later, but for right now, let's get you started up. And here's what's taking place in the world today. Arizona lawmakers took a significant step yesterday. That significant step yesterday involved abortion. They've basically tried to rule over a ruling that they had that has existed since the civil war era. And they did this last month. The vote fell largely on party lines, with two Republican state senators breaking from the chamber's GOP majority, to back repealing the near total ban. The governor of Arizona actually said that she would sign the bill as soon as it reached her desk. So we will keep your eyes peeled and get you up to date on that matter. Hundreds of faculty and graduate student workers rallied yesterday afternoon outside Columbia University's only open entrance, protesting the university's decision earlier in the morning to send police on campus and arrest more than 100 pro-Palestinian demonstrators. NYPD announced that almost 300 arrests took place Tuesday at Columbia and New York City College, hours before police in riot gear swept through and onto UCLA's campus to break up a melee between dueling protesters as opposition to Israel's war in Gaza continued to roll through universities across the U.S. Independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. proposed to take a no-spoiler pledge with President Joe Biden at a campaign event in New York yesterday as he feuds with former President Donald Trump. The pledge, as he laid out, would have Kennedy and Biden co-fund a 50-state poll of more than 30,000 people around mid-October, and that would pit each of them against Trump in a two-man race, agreeing that whoever performs weakest against him will drop out of the presidential race. Most of us seems we're pretty clueless, right, when it comes to annuities. Well, in one recent study, the American College of Financial Services gave older Americans a score of 12% of a possible 100, 12%, for their knowledge of annuities based on their performance on a short quiz. For those who are unaware, an annuity is a series of fixed, predictable payments made at regular intervals over multiple years. You can purchase an annuity yourself or acquire one through work. A pension is an annuity an employer pays to a retired employee. Social Security is an annuity the government pays you. Southwest Airlines said it will limit hiring and suspend operations at 4 airports in the U.S. and even Mexico, following a loss of profits and delays getting planes from Boeing. Last Thursday, the Dallas-based budget airline reported a net loss of $231 million in the first quarter of 2024. Southwest president and CEO Bob Jordan called those losses, of all things, quote, disappointing, close quote, and said the airline is adjusting to slower than usual or slower than planned growth for 2024 and 2025. In defiance of an NFL cease and desist order, the University of Houston is moving forward with wearing powder blue uniforms as an alternate option for the football program. Houston Chronicle reported that the school reached out to the NFL last month and told them that their jersey shelving decision is now reversed. Athletic director Chris Pensman said the university has, they feel, a defensible position. The legal fight is centered around uniforms the school wore last year, and it was described as a blatant copy of the former Houston Oilers jersey. And the school plans to extend that Houston Oilers look of jersey to all of their sporting programs. Denver Nuggets forward Michael Porter Jr. must deal with yet another brother in trouble. This time it's with the law. ESPN also reported that the 20-year-old Loyola Marymount forward Javon Porter was arrested early Saturday morning in Missouri for suspicion of driving while intoxicated and speeding. The arrest comes 2 weeks after his brother Jonte was banned for life in the NBA for violating the league's gambling rules. This is on the heels of yet another brother of Michael, Coban, being sentenced on April 19th to 6 years in prison for a fatal drunk driving crash in Colorado last year. And talk about when it rains, it pours. Michael, prayers with you, and I'm not being facetious, brother. The disgraced movie mogul Harvey Weinstein is getting a retrial. He appeared in New York's Supreme Criminal Court in Manhattan yesterday for the first time since the state's Court of Appeals threw out his 2020 rape conviction last week. The 72-year-old man was serving a 23-year sentence in upstate New York, and he was transferred to Bellevue Hospital in New York City on Saturday, as told to USA Today. In sports, the Celtics advanced to the Eastern Conference semifinals, closing out the Heat in dominating fashion. Now they await the Cavs' Magic survivor. Meanwhile, it was a great day for Dallas sports fans in general. The Mavs destroyed the Clippers by 30 in LA to take a 3-2 series lead, while the Stars, after losing the first 2 games at home against the Golden Knights, stormed back, and now they have a 3-2 series lead as well. Also in the NHL action, the Edmonton Oilers advanced last night, defeated the Kings 4-3, and winning their series 4-1. Turning our attention to weather across the U.S. In the Pacific Northwest, it will be partly cloudy and 61 in Seattle, partly cloudy and 62 in the Twin Cities, so it'll be overcast and 51 in Boston. It will be 73 and partly cloudy in New York, partly cloudy and 83 in D.C., 75 and partly cloudy in Chicago, 82 and partly cloudy in Detroit. We will have thunderstorm activity and 82 in St. Louis, partly cloudy and 85 in Cincinnati, the same in Charlotte with a high of 84. Going further, it will be sunny and 84 in Atlanta, partly cloudy and 82 in Miami, partly cloudy and 85 in Houston, the same for Dallas with a high of 83. Out on the West Coast, Phoenix will be sunny and 90. Vegas will be windy and 86. San Francisco will be sunny and 69. And LA will be sunny and 71. And that concludes Starting You Up. Later this hour, we'll talk about having an attitude of gratitude and lighting the way. We will talk about how you can support a small business or a content creator as well, and it won't cost you a penny. But coming up next, chemistry versus connection. Hmm. The program spotlight is next. You're watching The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson on the BS3 Network. We will be right back.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Join Ryan McCarthy
I became a Jets fan because Kermit the Frog was my favorite Muppet because he was green, and the Jets wore green. That's how I became a Jets fan.
and Dustin Henry
ESPN is cashing all in on let's pay a few personalities and we'll just kind of fill in the gaps.
as they walk you through all of the world of sports from their perspective.
The Albany Empire, it's a literal circus.
No credentials required. Where, Ryan, say the tag.
Where you don't need a press pass to talk sports.
Live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central on YouTube and where you can find podcasts.
Everything Boston. I love you, you morons. New Kids from the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Welcome back to the Morning Shift with Cole Johnson on the BS3 Network. Glad you're able to join me, Cole Johnson, this morning. Say you, say me, say it for always. Oh, that's the way it should be. Say you, say me. Say it together naturally. Say it together naturally. Sort of an inside joke there. But shout out to you, Eric. When it comes to human interaction, look, we all connect and bond with one another in different ways. Probably understanding the nature of two types of bonds, it could probably help us go further in our relationships. On the show Perspective, they expertly break down, compare, and contrast chemistry versus connection. And here's how I see it when I look at the two. When you look at chemistry, to me, it's the immediate feeling you have when one sees another. Sometimes it can be fleeting, one night stands, or like a chance meeting at a function, church, or work, or conference. Other times it can last a while. That's what we call friends with benefits, or really friendships. If it develops and there's no sexual tension, boundaries that have to be put forth. There's a synergy between two people when they lock eyes. In the song One Woman Man, David Hollister was reflecting on his younger days of being wild. Let's be honest, he was reflecting on his days of being a hoe. He's doing this with one of his exes in the song, and the lyric describes chemistry from this song standpoint. And the lyric that I want to focus on is, quote, eye contact and it was over, close quote. And that is important when you think about it. And that was in the first verse. In the second verse, amid letting her down easy, Hollister talks about how good the woman looks, but he's going home to the woman with whom he's making long-term plans. That speaks to connection. And it is the one thing that keeps the relationship glue holding together when a couple must ask themselves, why am I with this person? Why do I love this person? What keeps me being with this person? One thing love is not. It's an exact science, because you can bump into a relationship where it is loaded in connection, but the chemistry might not be there, but they're still together. You can run into a relationship where chemistry is at an all-time high, but the connection is rather fleeting. Um, and let me break this down even further since we're doing a program spotlight. So, chemistry and connection. Can love survive a romantic relationship lacking one of these two ingredients? Some would say yes. My answer would be no, for the most part. And here's why. If a connection is there, but it has no chemistry, that sounds more like a friendship, really. If there is chemistry, but no connection, I said earlier, that could either be a one night stand territory, or you can be conducting friends with benefits transactions. Am I saying relationships are impossible to have lacking one or the other? No. However, someone in the relationship would want to go further. They would want to dig deeper. They'd want to be in the realm where they could say, oh, yeah, I really love this person. I want to go deeper with this person and get to bond with them, get to know them better, get to know them more. It's just natural human interaction to me. You just will have someone who wants something deeper, something greater, something more. The co-host of Perspective, Latoya, the therapist, raised a great point when she said, quote, I believe that connection can lead to chemistry, close quote. And she's 100% on the money. It definitely can lead to uh, connection can lead to chemistry. No question about that. Well, how would you know that, Cole? Well, glad you asked. So about 3 months ago, my wife and I were on the road traveling to see my mother-in-law, about 25 or so miles southwest of Atlanta on I-85. The driver's side rear tire blew, and my wife and I spun 3 times in the left-hand lane. We were going about 80 miles an hour when this happened. It literally was like the grace of God that we were able to get to the left shoulder and out of harm's way with no scratches, with no bruises, with no collisions, and no other damage. Because we got to the left shoulder, there was, of course, the concrete divider. We even missed that, and we did get hit by a car coming. Before that incident, my wife looked at me with love, of course, but it was with doubt of, can he really protect me? Does he really have what it takes to, when I'm scared out of my mind, that he can be in control and say, I got us, and he has us? It was on that level before late January. After that incident, where both of us feared for our lives and got away unscathed, she saw I was protecting her as best I could, and I succeeded in doing so. And we've always had connection for as long as I can remember. But it fueled a chemistry the likes of which I have never seen in anybody before or since And I've never felt it or experienced it like this. And it's still ongoing even to this moment. And I look at her differently. Not because she looks at me differently. I look at her differently because I actually was able to be in the mode of trying and succeeding in protecting her from harm. The other co-host of Perspective, Eric Butler, was onto something when he mentioned chemistry being more physical and sexually driven, while connection being more mentally and emotionally driven. The point in this, I really appreciate him framing, though, is the fact that chemistry by itself, and I love the word he used. The word was, quote, flavorless, close quote. And I love that word simply because it only focuses seemingly on the act itself. It's as if that is the only thing that matters to chemistry only situations. Not saying that is the case with all of them, but for the most part, that seems to be the case. Connection adds flavor to chemistry. So the same act you perform on someone with whom you have connection becomes more meaningful, more potent, and more everlasting. And it doesn't have to be just physical acts. I mean, conversations you have in chemistry, in a heavy situation of chemistry, they normally tend to be surface level. Conversations you conduct in a connection to heavy situation will have substance. And not only that, it'll also be more personal in nature because you'll have more invested in it. What I have to learn, and I'm still honestly learning it, is communication is key to every relationship, no matter the role and no matter the place. I mean, at home, definitely. With family, definitely. Even in the workplace. And I'll admit, I still have issues working through that because I do have issues trusting people in general. What I'm discovering about myself is that I created an emotional isolation bubble to protect myself from a lot of things. And I'm calling myself out on this because it is something I still practice to this day. Thank you, D.T. Wilder. Goodness gracious. The benefit of all this, obviously, is you stay at arm's length from trouble. The drawback of it, however, is I don't see connection via communication. Because of it, I have felt the damage in every area of my life. In the past year, and I had a milestone celebration of that past year, I have sought, because I made a personal promise to myself, I sought to erode this isolation bubble, and I have seen great results from it. But I still must shed more of it, though, to truly receive the wonders of both full-on chemistry and full-on connection. And if you want to connect and have chemistry with the two people I just mentioned, all you have to do and all you must do, because you will be blessed if you do so, is tune in to Perspective. That's right. That's right. You have the intellect, Eric Butler, on one side. You have Chef Jeff's wife and licensed therapist, Latoya, on the other. Both make a thought-provoking duo traversing the lanes of mental and emotional health and stability. Tune into Perspective live tonight and every Thursday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 p.m. Central. That's Perspective live tonight and every Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 p.m. Central on the BS3 Network via Roku TV and the BS3 Network YouTube channel. Coming up next, you can support any business that you'd like, and you could do it for free. How can you support that business, though? And how can you support a content creator and not pay a dime? I'm glad you're here. This is the morning shift for Cole Johnson on the BS3 Network. We'll be right back right after this. This is a BS3 Network presentation. Adrian Shawan.
There was a man talking about where the homebodies at, where the women at, and the women was stitching it and was like, we at home.
Scotty Knox.
Another pet peeve of mine, right? First date, if you show up with the ponytail that come out at the top of your head, it will not be a second date.
Butler.
I want people to think independently and freely. She's not. $100 for lunch. I almost got up and walked off.
A show that asks only one question. Is it Wednesday yet? Live every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 p.m. Central.
See everybody talking like they doing what we doing, but these brothers is rare and they ain't moving like we moving, and everywhere we go.
Rams fans all around the world.
It's a beautiful thing to be a Rams fan right now. Stafford's back. We will see about Cup. And running back Kerryon Williams to return.
Lend me your ears, or should I say lend Playmaker your ears, as he breaks down week by week everything in the Los Angeles Rams canon.
Number 99, Aaron Donald. Can't wait for 2029 to come to know that you are going in the Hall of Fame, and it should be first ballot, no questions asked.
Join the Playmaker as he breaks down everything Los Angeles Rams style in Ramily Talk on the Playmakers Blog Network YouTube channel and where you can find podcasts. Jay Caraway.
You got some that can't seem to put the phone down. The signs on the freeway now. Put it down, it can wait, whatever. You know, like, that's crazy to me.
CJ Boyd.
You have some adults that ain't got no sense, bro. The moment they feel attacked, they gonna handle you accordingly.
Brothers talking about real life issues. BS3 Network proudly presents Elevate. Live every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Welcome back to BS3 Presents The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson. And you are halfway through. And on the other side of this, we will talk about the ask scenario. I'll break that down when we get to it. But I have this scenario to put in front of you. Content creators, small businesses, and other entities which depend on customers to thrive. They need you. I'm one of those people, obviously. So I also need you. You hear it all the time, especially with YouTube from content creators. And you'll hear from me later. Like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell and comment below, because why is that? Simple. To borrow a song from the OJs. You got to give the people what they want. In order to do that, you must know exactly what they do want. So in lieu of a cover story, we're going to debut a new segment called The List. I know there are businesses like that you like and content creators that give you joy. I know this. The trick, though, is how can you give these wonderful people life when they give of themselves to others? Well, obviously, every business needs financial transactions to extend their reach. So we're not coming from a naive type of place. However, businesses do need to extend their reach. And the same goes for content creators. But you said this is done for free, Cole. Yes, I did. I stand by that. There are 5 ways you can help a content creator or an entrepreneur for free. Let's start with number 1. All you have to do is shout them out. For example, My man Lefe, he is my brother. He does one spectacular program called Stuck in My Mind. And I have said this to him 2 years ago, and it stands even more true now. In interviews, and I have been interviewed by him, he pulls out of you something that you didn't think you had in you, because he has this innate ability to just make you calm and comfortable and make you the focus. Another example, my Andrew Willingham, he has this show called In or Out Sports Debate, and it's so fun, and he is so animated that you just have this sense of fun, and you can't help but to embrace it and be in the be in the throes of the excitement. Another example, my man Cool McCain, he has this show called Monarchs of Wrestling, where he just acts himself, and he gives me the uncle feel that we both would see in OGs when we were young. And he's turned into one of those OGs, and I enjoy every single second of it. And him, you see, that is what I'm talking about, shouting out. Restaurants encourage these things. Sometimes influencers encourage these things as well. But talk about the experience in your circle, and mention it on your pages. They will love it. Every single last one of the content creators and businesses would love if you just shout them out. Just mention them. You don't have to do anything. In fact, I'll mention one more. My man Antoine Span, or Mr. Span, as I call him. In the beginning of his show, Mr. Span Official, he actually says, let's see if I can remember this. Quote, "It doesn't cost you a dime, just a minute of your time to tell me that you really do support your boy and you like what he does." Close quote. And he's right. And that's another brother I support. Smooth, hilarious. The energy is beautiful with him. Number 2, follow any of their business pages. I don't care which one. It could be Facebook, it could be X, it could be Instagram, it could be TikTok, it could be their website, it could be even newsletters. If you really want to support a business and it doesn't cost you anything, just follow their pages. Just see where they're moving, see how they're moving, see if they're moving correctly, see if they're moving in a way where it is beneficial for you. And if you tell them that, you will realize that it'll be beneficial for them. And I mean, that doesn't really take much. I mean, it's just hitting a like, or in this case, in my situation, hitting a like button and notification bell, and commenting. But follow, or in this case, subscribe to me and the BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson YouTube channel. If you really want to support a content creator or an entrepreneur, just follow any of their pages. So I should include YouTube as well. But yeah, Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, their website, newsletters. Follow them, or like them, or subscribe to them. Whichever way that will have you come in contact with whatever you like on a consistent basis, do that. Businesses will appreciate you, and content creators will also appreciate you. The third way you can help a content creator or an entrepreneur, just simply tell a friend. Word of mouth is the best form of marketing that has ever existed. I mean, people sink a whole lot of money into putting their product in front of people's faces. And yes, it does work. It depends on who, but yes, it does work. But what travels faster is a friend saying, this product that I have is great. I know you should try it. Or this content creator that I follow, man, they're funny. I recently ran into a comedic duo called Chase and Mello, and I have liked a few of their videos. I now have to comment on a couple of them because I got to show them love. They're absolutely funny, and each of them are funny in their own right. And I have told a couple of people that, and I'll be telling more because their brand of entertainment needs to be appreciated. They're wonderful people, and they're performing a service. And believe me, entertainment is a form of service because it's work that they put in to give you a product, whether it is 60 seconds. It is work that they put in to make sure they give you a quality product that wows you, that makes you say, wow, this is some great stuff. The fourth way you can help a content creator or an entrepreneur or a small business owner: engage with their posts. And I just talked to you about Chase and Mello, and I started the engagement with them. I'll go back to my man Cool, and I'll also go with Wise. Those two do their best to show love. Like, they will go and will follow anybody that they support, and they will draw comments. They say, man, that's fire. Man, I agree with this point, whatever it was. And it gives you, the person who's creating the content or the person who's creating the product, it gives you that extra boost. It makes you feel like you have made an impact. And I love it. If they have polls, participate in it. If they have trivia questions, answer them. If they have a giveaway, enter it. You just don't know how much it means to the content creator or the entrepreneur. And the fifth and final way you can help a content creator, an entrepreneur, or a small business owner for free: cheer them. Get them on. This is not easy. Having a content creator or entrepreneur hear how much you impact their lives goes a very long way. For example, the Intellect watched one of my shows, and one of my morning shows, and he said, man, great show indeed. And he is a man that I consider of value and of valor. And when you hear someone of that quality say that about you or a product that you have, man, that just gets you in here. And it made my day to hear that I made an impact that was that solid in him. Us all work that much harder to connect with someone else like that is a quality like him. Ultimately, we want you to share the same experience with others who like the product or business or content creation, or the content creator, him or herself, as passionately as you do. So, to review, first way you can help a content creator or an entrepreneur for free: shout them out. The second is to follow any of their business pages or social media pages. The third way is to tell a friend or have word of mouth. The fourth way is to engage with any and every one of their posts. And the last one is to cheer them on. Every business, every content creator will appreciate you if you are actively saying you like what product that is put in front of them. And in the end, it makes you a better customer as a result. That is the list. Coming up next, the ask scenario. What does that mean? I'm glad you asked. You're watching The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson on the BS3 Network. We'll be back right after this.
Eric Butler, a.k.a.
The Intellect, a.k.a. Cullinan. I'm the biggest diamond ever found on land, a.k.a. The Atlantic. Cold, deep, and choppy.
Latoya the Therapist, a.k.a.
Them Kids' Mama, a.k.a. Jeff's wife, a.k.a. Latoya the Therapist. I am a licensed professional counselor.
Beauty and Brains, clinical and principled, insightful, and intelligent. BS3 Network proudly presents Perspective live every Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 p.m. Central. Are you looking for something to do on your lunch break? Well, there's a show on the BS3 Network that has only 4 words to say to you.
We ready. We ready. We ready for y'all. We ready. We ready. We ready for y'all.
The Lunch Break with AJ, powered by JM&E. Live weekdays at noon Central.
Bruce Bernstein.
NBA people are the best people ever. Everything that I've ever wanted to do was always sort of pointed towards the NBA.
Yes. Daniel Jones, I don't listen, I wasn't sold on him in the beginning either.
Ben Sutter, Dan Quinn. Like, he may not be the greatest head coach, but one thing we do know is that he can coach defenses.
Mirren Fader. If I did a biography on Hakeem Olajuwon, this is the first true international superstar.
Looking for the up-to-date information in the world of sports? The Real Deal with Courtney Harden. Live every Saturday at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central.
Welcome back to BS3 Presents the Morning Shift with Cole Johnson. I am Cole Johnson, and I'm glad you made it this far because I've been needing this personally myself. If I were to ask you to apply the ask scenario in your life, would you know what I mean? No? Yeah. That's what I thought. But don't feel alone and don't feel bashful or bad, because mostly everyone will answer the same as you. And I did at one point. However, that's what I want to talk about right now in today's Lighting the Way. The ask scenario, it sounds harmless on its face. However, it is potent in its effectiveness. How, you may ask? Well, see, there's a scripture in the gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ, according to Matthew, where it outlines it. Jesus says, ask and it shall be given. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it will be open unto you. For everyone that asks receives, and he that seeks finds, and to him that knocks, the door shall be opened. Let's start with A, shall we? And A is, of course, ask. This is something I had an issue with just in my life in general. I've gone through life, and my wife has pointed this out to me. And she's actually said to me, you think you know all the answers? How the heck do you think you can get along in life if you don't ask questions? Just ask questions. Be inquisitive until you actually get to know a thing. Ask questions until you get to an answer. And so I'm saying to you, you have to go out there and get what you want. There's a scripture that says, you have not because you ask not, or you ask and have done so amiss. There's a more secular saying, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. And actually it sort of is a play on scripture. And one day I'll talk about that later. One day I'll talk about that. But how can anybody, most importantly, God, not know what you want? I ask him, yeah, he's omnipresent, and yes, he's omniscient. And he probably could look down and say, I know you from the end. I know you the end from the beginning. I know this. I know how this is going to traverse. I know, but I need you to know, and that is how he is. And so he is like a parental guide. So if you would say, Lord, what is this? I think about the movie Autobot, where the main character would ask a hologram version of a professor, and to help the detective along, the questions that he would ask, if it wasn't along the lines of going toward an answer, he'd say, well, that's not the question you should ask. And then he would get to the question he would ask. And then when the question was asked, you see this big, bright, white smile on his face. And he says, now that's the question you need to ask. I look at God in that same vein and same way. It's like, let me ask the right question so I know I can get that smile on your face. It's like you're now on your way to the answer. Let's go to S. Seek. And I said with A, it more so matters with S. You have to go out there and get what you want. The only way you can do that is by going on journeys, seeking it. That's the only way you can do it. And that's the beauty of people who have an adventurous spirit. They go out there, they are inquisitive, they are open, they look for things and they see things, and it's beautiful for them because they're experiencing something new, something vibrant, something different, and it helps in the journey, because it's like a poster that I had hanging up on the wall when I was growing up in my parents' house, and it was a computer pixeled version of a rainbow, and the background that wasn't a rainbow was navy, and the letters were written in silver. And the first and last sentence was the same: success is a journey, not a destination. And so when you seek for success, it's a journey, which means it's like something I heard Michael Jordan say about game-winning shots. Says, I've taken shots over and over and over and over again, and I have missed many times. And that's why I succeed. Meaning, you can't fear falling. Because if you fear falling, that means you have failed. So you can't fear falling, but you have to anticipate defeat. Because how else can you grow unless you understand that you are hitting roadblocks and this is not the path you should go? You should go a different route. And finally, there's K. Like we do when we come upon a house that's not ours, you knock. Being in position to ask for help, it's not a weak thing. It's a strong thing. And sometimes when I do this, I'm ministering to myself. So pardon me while Well, that hit me. And I had to say it again. Being in position to ask for help is not a weak thing, it's a strong thing. Again, we don't know all the answers. Even at the age I am now, I don't have all the answers. And there are many in my life who have been where I've been, traversed places I have never been, and could help me on the journey there, because they could say to me when I was your age and have proof. So knocking, that looks like going to an elder, or even going to someone who's younger than you are that has wisdom, or going to someone who loves you and they see a perspective in life that you don't have, and you seek them out. That's knocking, because you want their wisdom. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful when the ask scenario gets worked out that way. So to review, if you ask, it will be given. How would anyone know what you need unless you ask for it? If you seek, you will find. No matter where you go, if you're active in seeking, you'll come across something that will fill your inner cup. If you knock, the door will be open to you. You have to be careful, though. You just can't knock on every single door. The door that's mentioned here is the door that leads to Jesus. So that means praying, obviously. So you pray to Jesus, and he will direct you to knock on the doors of those like you who hear his voice, and others they won't follow. The ask scenario. Ask, it will be given. Seeking, you will find. Knocking, the door will be opened. That is the way into having the one-on-one conversation with God. He wants communication with you. He wants communication with me. Don't deny him. Give him what he desires. That deep, intimate connection with you. And before I go, let me just address the shifters out here. How you doing, my man, BS3? The man who put the BS3, as I would say, and as I would say, the owner, the manipulator, the operator of the BS3 network, Benjamin Sudeth the third. Good to see you, my man. Al High, the casual highlight man. How you doing? Everything is good. He says, yes, the journey. You know, my brother, you definitely know. You definitely know. So that is all the time I have. Thank you for joining me on this and every single weekday morning. Look, I thank you for liking, for sharing, for subscribing, for commenting, and for hitting the notification bell so you can get all content that the BS3 Presents Morning Shift with Cole Johnson can provide you. For all of us here at the BS3 Network, I am Cole Johnson, here to say in parting, as I always do, if you lack commitment, you won't start. If you lack consistency, you will not finish. And if you lack love, you will most certainly not conquer. Until us again in 23 hours. Have a great rest of your day.